Say No's Teachings Part 2. Hashtag family, relatives, friends, and human leeches. Like scammers present beautiful family ties or friendships while causing only pain to you. Hashtag most people are weak against stock and real estate scams. Think that there's no secret method to earn money quickly and easily. Hashtag characteristics of scam victims. They believe there's a way to make money easily, which they seem to be the only ones unaware of. They desperately want to become wealthy soon. Scammers treat victims so well to the point of feeling sorry for them. Hashtag remember the truth that to acquire more, you must first save like those who possess nothing. Hashtag if you want to live as a wealthy person, firmly grasp money in your youth. Defeat hypocrisy. Hashtag the wheels of reward turn slowly. If someone can become the best even in menial tasks, they can earn billions. Step by step, go through the stages. Success requires time, effort, and patience. Happiness can be found when you bring about changes in your own life. Continually enhancing your value in any field. Hashtag the happiest individuals are rare cases where they strive for happiness. True happiness is related to intriguing things that immerse you in the moment, challenge you, and captivate you. Don't seek humanism on the battlefield. Those who cannot win in the economic game, and lack the power of capital do not deserve peace. Hashtag discard vague dreams or ambitions of becoming wealthy. Set achievable goals within the next year. Hashtag life, like football, is about advancing 1 inch at a time. Success or failure depends on how well you perform in that inch. We only run for that 1 inch. The driving force of success is striving your best for the seemingly insignificant inch forward today. Hashtag remember that the process of becoming wealthy is also a process of overcoming loneliness. Hashtag remember that there are opportunities in tasks others hesitate to do. Discard your pride and avoid comparing yourself to others. Work hard so that people will seek you out after seeing how diligently you work. Don't forget that this is the key to success in business. Hashtag save, and save again. Pool together the incomes of your family. Refrain from drinking alcohol and instead, save and save more money. Hashtag the reason poverty is inherited is due to parents' inappropriate attitudes. Such attitudes, which focus only on the type of work, rather than studying what it means to do a good job, are passed on to their children, leading to the inheritance of poverty. Hashtag the reason for poverty is not lack of education or having a poor job. It's because they don't know how to gain rewards in society through work. Hashtag many poor people are considered unfortunate individuals who are kind and do their best, but are not treated well in society. However, in reality, this is often not the case. Hashtag I became wealthy because I made an effort not to follow the poor. Discard the characteristics of the poor. Hashtag eliminate feelings of entitlement, perception of others, and comparison. Hashtag the wealthy don't care about how others live. They don't try to imitate others. They don't live by comparing themselves to others. They prioritize accumulating money. Don't linger in front of the showcases created by the wealthy. Your personality is never equivalent to the possessions you own. There's nothing more foolish than being brainwashed by images created by others, prioritizing others' judgments, and trying to show off to others. Hashtag learn about economics to make wise choices, to eliminate unnecessary waste through comparative choices, and to prepare for the future. Hashtag excessive consumption is not something the wealthy do. It's the people who imitate the wealthy without being wealthy themselves, who engage in excessive consumption. The disappointment consumption of the middle class and lower class makes the wealthy even wealthier. Most of the things they consume come from businesses created by the wealthy. Hashtag there is only one criterion for judging whether a consumption is excessive or not. Whether it was an expense for self-development. Most are deemed excessive. Don't dream of a society where everyone lives equally well. How you spend your money and how you accumulate. It becomes the measure of how carefully you are crafting your own life. Hashtag those who want to become wealthy must learn a transcendent investment attitude toward ownership. After selecting investment targets, bury them for the long term. Hashtag the wealthy teach their children how to do things that aren't taught in school. It's awkward to call this financial knowledge. Hashtag the cause of poverty is not the lack of financial knowledge, but rather ignorance of how to gain greater rewards in this world through work. Hashtag invest in stocks with surplus funds. Surplus funds are funds that are useless even if tomorrow comes. Hashtag remember the law of narrow doors. It's through dirty, dangerous, difficult, and less glamorous tasks that have fewer competitors that you make money. Hashtag the first step in real investment is not to give money to others and have them work for you, but to do it yourself. Don't try to solve all life problems with your head. There are old dogs around you who already know how to solve these problems. Hashtag the highest level of guidance lies in receiving teachings. The saying that the road is in books is therefore true. Hashtag read books on practical matters first. Read several similar books in the same category. Read books on one subject in a short period of time. Hashtag the capital market is originally a place where people's appropriate ignorance and greed act as driving forces. Hashtag remember that people are the decision makers of opportunities. Treat those above you well. They are the ones who have already gained privileges. Don't forget that fact. Hashtag if you have abilities, now you must be careful about your attire and behavior. Embrace solitude. It's a ritual of passing closer to your goals. Hashtag make loneliness and solitude your friends. To become wealthy, you must overcome loneliness. Friends won't give you the opportunity to become wealthy. Loneliness always accompanies pain. I don't know any technique to become wealthy without that pain. Hashtag the hormone that makes you feel lonely is merely an instinct for species preservation that even birds have. Hashtag people who will never become wealthy are those who don't know what others want or dislike, and don't care about others at all. Hashtag people who only calculate their own losses, rather than the harm they may cause to others, find it difficult to gain others' trust, because they only see the situation from their own perspective, and they end up worrying about money their whole lives. Hashtag the path to wealth lies not in being good at investment, but in first having the ability to handle the problems of others delicately. Hashtag having a loud voice is not a matter of pride. I have never seen a wealthy person with a loud voice. Whether domestically or internationally, avoid meeting people with loud voices, regardless of location. Hashtag wives, if you need to scratch a pan, it's because of your husband's laziness, filthiness, and laziness. Make sure to make them study. Hashtag stay away from egalitarianism. If the sun shines equally on everyone but you shout that fruits should be distributed even though you haven't sweated, then you're either a bandit or a beggar. Hashtag if the benefit that comes back to you through sacrifice is translated into economic value, then it is never benevolence. Hashtag challenge yourself. People know very well that they should live diligently, but they also know very well that they are not living diligently themselves. Hashtag if life seems easy, there is no future. If you fear life, even if the economy is good, you will not save and will not be lazy in your efforts. Hashtag if you want to become wealthy, start by satisfying your closest family. Only then can you focus on your work without worry. Hashtag if you want to become wealthy, you must learn Excel. Hashtag when doing any business, the people you think are your allies are actually your enemies. Winners have enemies, losers have many friends. Hashtag there is no friendship in relationships of interest. Hashtag to become wealthy quickly. Read the minds of the wealthy. Know what wealthy people want. If it looks okay to you, they won't open their wallets. Hashtag cultivate survival skills, that is, knowledge. Remember that becoming wealthy is not about competing with geniuses, but with ordinary people. There's no need to be afraid.